Hello, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and fellow enthusiasts. It is with great pleasure and excitement that I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you to this distinguished international webinar marking the 25th glorious year of SLE Asia that will focus on the subject of security issues on Internet of Things. I'm Komal Gupta, a PhD scholar of Library and Information Science from Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Lucknow. It's a truly an honor to be your host for this special session as we come together to celebrate the 25th glorious year of SLA Asia. As a proud member of SLA Asia community, I'm absolutely thrilled to see so many of you joining us from around the world. Your presence here today reflects our shared commitment to learning, collaboration, and innovation in the field of information science. Throughout the next 1 to 2 hours, we'll be exploring key insights, sharing best practices, and much more about the security issues on Internet of Things. I encourage you all to actively participate and share your thoughts in the chat box. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I introduce Dr. Abhishek Verma, an esteemed assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology at Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University in Lucknow, with a PhD in IoT security from the National Institute of Technology, Kurukshetra, and over 7 years of research and teaching experience. Dr. Verma has made significant contribution to academia. So, we are privileged to have you today as a speaker for this webinar. Now, I would like to invite Professor MP Singh Sir, President of the SLA Asia Community. He holds a distinguished position as a highly experienced professor at Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University in Lucknow, specializing in library information science. With over 150 research papers published in journals worldwide and extensive academic travel to numerous countries, he actively contributed to the advancement of knowledge. I would like to invite you, sir, to grace our virtual stage and extend a warm welcome to our esteemed speaker.
Thank you, Komal Gupta, for nice introduction. A very good evening to everyone. I'm really grateful for the gracious welcome to you all. Our today's renowned speaker of the second activity of international webinar, Dr. Abhishek Burma, Executive Board of SL Asia Community, esteemed members of SL Asia Community, luminaries of library professionals, galaxy of eminent library fraternity from across the globe, scholars, students, ladies and gentlemen. I am extremely glad to inform you that the SL Asia community, as Komal Gupta said, celebrating Silver Jubilee this year and celebrating 25 glorious years as a remarkable milestone in our SLA history. The Executive Board have decided to organize at least 25 events in Asia. Apart from that, the board decided that it will not be conducted only by means of seminar or conferences, but it will be also include webinars. So we will organize networking sessions and social gatherings, both in physical and virtual modes of the entire in the Asian countries. Indeed, it's an immense pleasure and feel honored to be welcomed at this auspicious occasion to connect and interact to galaxy of eminent personalities, luminaries of allies professionals across the globe. I extend a warm welcome to all our participants joining us from across the globe. Definitely, your presence enriches our discussion and highlights the global importance of innovation and connections. Due to overwhelming response from the allies professionals, it is also live stream on YouTube channel, so you can join through YouTube, the YouTube channel also. with immense pleasure and a deep sense of respect. I would like to take this opportunity to warmly welcome each one of you to this international webinar on security issues on Internet of Things. Today, we are privileged to come together from all corners of the globe to participate in a conversation that is significant and pertinent. I warm welcome you all on behalf of SL Asia community and my own behalf. I also gives me intense pleasure to welcome Dr. Abhishek Verma, our esteemed speaker of this webinar. As Komal Gupta said, Dr. Verma, presently working as assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology at Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar Central University, Lucknow, India. He has previously served in a similar role at Triple ITDM Jabalpur. He also earned his PhD in IoT security from NIT Kurukshetra. With over 7 years of research and teaching experience, he has authored more than 30 articles in esteemed international journals, conferences, along with editing 3 books published by CRC Press. Apart from that, Dr. Verma contributes as an editorial board member for research reports of computer science RRCs and serves on the review board for reputable various journals, including IEEE, Springer, Wiley, Elsevier, and so on. His current research interests span information security, intrusion detection, SDN, and IoT. So, once again, we warm welcome you, Dr. Verma, for sparing your valuable time with us. As far as concern about theme of the webinar, security issues on IoT. As our world becomes increasingly interconnected through the Internet of Things, the importance of addressing security concern cannot be overstated. The IoT is the vast network of connected physical objects like things that exchange data with other devices and systems via the internet. IoT security is an umbrella term that covers the studies, tools, processes, systems, methods used to protect all aspects of the Internet of Things. And security, IoT devices from unauthorized access ensures that they do not become a gateway into other parts of the network or leak sensitive information. So, our distinct expert definitely will share insights, strategies, and best practices for identifying, mitigating, and managing security risks associated with IoT deployments.
Thank you
But
for
please,
the nice introduction, sir. Uh,
okay, once again, I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Verma and to all other esteemed participants. So, without taking much time, uh, friends, I would like to request Dr. Verma for his invited talk. Dr. Verma, over to you, please.
okay. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to you all.
Yeah, very much visual, Doctor.
Okay, okay. So, the topic is basically kept very brief because of let because I want to simply introduce to this IoT term as well as what are the various security issues that are basically arising with this technology. So the main challenge is that there are a lot of devices that are coming every day. Even we can see this, we can see on the screen a figure that shows lot of devices are there. So these devices are basically present, can be present anywhere. It can be like on your wrist, it can be in your home, it can be in industries, hospitals, even in any sector. If you see, lot of automation is going on, and because of this automation, lot of devices are being used. And when devices are being used, the term comes input and output. So input is basically the data that is being grabbed from the environment in the form of like video, images, textual data. And then there is the output. Output means basically the processed form of data that is being basically sent to the servers for maybe further processing, analytics. And based on those analytics, lot of services are basically are offered to the customers or consumers, you can say. Okay, the thing is that why should we care about IoT, right? It's because we are the most affected people by the IoT, because when things go wrong, our data is going to get exploited. It seems that people say, why should we care about industrial data? But we should care about industrial data because it is some or the other way it is going to take our data, and then they are going to do it. For example, suppose I am interacting with the doctor online, right? I am sharing my data through some sensor, or I'm simply sharing my reports. And if somebody exploits it and then simply sends me some wrong prescriptions, or some way by hacking, or some kind of malware activities, it is not going to be good to me, right? That is why we need to care about IoT security. Okay, so the question is that why this lot of growth is being done? Because we people are basically more and more getting addicted towards automation. We want everything getting automated in our home. Even earlier we used to like cook chapatis by hand. Now machines are there, and now like anything you can think, there is a automated way of it. So right from 2015 2000 till 2025, it is like it can be estimated that there is going to be a great growth in the number of devices all over the world. So when this lot of devices are basically getting uh, in our lives, things are going to be not so good if we don't care about it. Okay, so this figure basically shows like there was like 8 billion shipment of personal devices in 2020, because we are more concerned about personal usage. Okay, these are some personal devices that were basically shipped in 2020, and this obviously this number is going to be very huge if we take current stats. Okay, for example, connected LED lamps, like I have LED bulb in my home that can be controlled from like my mobile phone. Okay, then we have some wearables like smart watch, okay, and like Alexa or Google Home. There are many toys that are present near to us, which are also automated and part of IoT. Okay, the thing is that when there is a lot of production going on, because there is a lot of demand from the customers for various automated devices, this company are in a lot of competition. Okay, when the lot of competition is there, everybody wants to manufacture and try to sell out their devices as soon as possible. They want to simply dump all the devices in the market. And because of this gold rush, companies are not very much focusing on the proper security system, or they are not enabling the devices with a lot of security. That is why with a weak security, device get exploited, because people are there in the society which are trying to always find some loopholes in the system. For example, hackers are there, they always want to get into personal data. Okay, so we need to like see what devices are there, what security capabilities it have, and then we should always like use those devices. A device without security, good security, is not always recommended. Okay, so there was like a study, basically IoT term was given by Ashton. Okay, it was the first time the IoT term was given by K Ashton. and he basically told the word that what can be counted as a IoT device. Okay, and then he also said that because of this race in the production of automated devices, because cheap devices will be obviously more preferred, right? So security will be compromised. Okay, and then there are recent events in the world. For example, there was an event, very popular event in 2016, where IoT botnet called Mirai was basically used to take down a DNS provider. DNS provider is basically, you can, in simple terms, you can say the service provider that gives the IP address of any domain name. For example, if I say www.netflix.com, our computer does not, like, it cannot communicate with Netflix directly without getting IP. So this DNS servers are there, and when these DNS servers are down, nobody can contact the website. So this Mirai botnet basically exploited small devices throughout the world and launched a distributed denial of service attack. It's an attack that basically is launched on a lot of traffic is basically launched on a particular server, so that it should simply go down and should not be able to serve legitimate users. So people who have actually bought the service of Netflix, if they want to watch movies, they won't be able to watch movies because server is already down. And since normal computers were not being used, because if you want to attack, you need to launch it from some device, and compromising a device also takes a lot of cost. So what attacker did, it simply compromised a lot of security cameras, security devices like LED lamps, and then simply launched the attack on DNS server. So this basically an interesting fact is that this IoT botnet was basically developed by an Indian professional who was basically working in USA. So a lot of big things are being done throughout the world by the Indians. I think good also, and some mischiefs also. Okay, and then there was one more Linux malware that was basically very popular in 2018, and it basically targeted some kind of specially designed CPUs. Okay, then mobile devices it targeted. Okay, so in layman terms, we can say the IoT devices are basically, IoT is a network of some interconnected technologies. Okay, and then technologies can be counted as like some network is there, some networking technology is there, some wireless communication is there, some wired communication is there. There are some devices. Okay, so it can be seen as an umbrella term for interconnected technologies, devices, objects, and services. Okay, and then there is some another definition that is very easy to remember, that IoT is nothing but it is a technology that is available anywhere, anytime, by anything and anyone. Okay, lot of devices are there which basically sense, collect, and share data over the internet without any human intervention to monitor and control the physical world. Okay, these are some characteristics of IoT, like resource constrained devices are there. Resource constrained devices basically means small devices are there. The devices are intelligent. If they have inbuilt intelligence, they are connected, they have dynamic nature, they can change the states. Lot of devices can be added. Okay, and they have self organization and self healing nature. They can sense. There are different types of devices can work together. Okay, they can interoperate with each other by communication, and then take decisions based on the data that is being sensed in their environments. Okay, and even these devices can be mobile. For example, our wristwatch is basically mobile, because when we move, our watch also moves. Okay, and then there can be static devices also. For example, our IP cameras. Okay, people now install, like there are different services available. People install CCTV cameras in their home, and then they can see what is going on in the home from the office. So the thing is that how they're able to see, because the data is basically being directly streamed to the server, and then it is being available to your mobile. The problem is, if somebody else gets that data other than you, then they can always monitor when you are present in your home or not. Then there is going to be a problem, right? And then there is a security and privacy characteristic, like they need to have devices need to be secure, and as well as privacy should be there. So IoT perspectives basically can be seen from different viewpoints. For example, the technological perspective says that there is always a demand from the consumers, because when consumers want something, technology is there to fulfill that demand. Okay, so IoT basically requires a context based technological advancement, keeping consumers convenience as a primary concern. When consumer demands, then only technologies evolve. If the consumer doesn't want anything, technologies won't evolve. Because we wanted to mobilize very fastly, people wanted to move from one place to another place, wheel was basically developed. Okay, and then this aeroplanes are developed because we needed that. If we didn't demand of that technology, like if we didn't wanted to have a lot of mobility, a lot of fast transportation, nobody would have developed this kind of technologies. Okay, and then we have security, privacy, trust, ownership of data, as well as services, which are some important concerns when we say IoT will be part of our lives. So we need to always take care of security, privacy, and trust, as well as ownership of the data. Okay. Then there is a business perspective. Business perspective basically means that when a lot of devices are being developed, lot of demand is there, lot of business basically generates. Okay. So there is a tremendous potential of electronic businesses that has arrived, and that is going to be always increase with time. Okay, as the IoT scenarios develop, a lot of IoT applications are being developed every day, so a lot of new devices are coming. Okay, and then new applications are also being developed thereafter. Okay, so the factors that could work for adapting the IoT industry are basically a lot of standards, specification, compliance, interoperability, integration, security, privacy, trust, and ownership. Okay, so because of a lot of things coming, business is also growing. Because for example, somebody says that IoT should be secured, so there is a new industry that is coming, that is called a security industry, that will make sure that these IoT devices are secure. Okay, and then different technologies evolve with that, which generates a lot of revenue. Okay, so the maximum beneficiary of IoT infrastructure is basically industry itself, you can say. Okay, then there is an economic perspective also. Economic perspective can be thought of from the 2 points. Okay, consumer point and the supplier point. Because see, consumer always wants to have things, make it easy for them, right? For example, they want time management. Okay, for example, they want time management in the sense that uh, they always want to control things, right? For example, I have a washing machine that I basically want to turn on and turn off from anywhere, right? So what I do, simply turn on my machine, and then I keep on monitoring from my mobile device when my things are over, and then maybe I want one time again I want to switch it on. And then there are many different things. Okay, then there is a refrigerator also that comes with a lot of automation. Okay, then there is a, like, flexibility is a thing, they want anytime anywhere service kind of things. Okay, then we want security devices also. For example, we want a vehicle lock, we want door lock, unlock alarms to the mobile handset. We want to basically simply handle our security things also with our mobile only. Okay, and then from the consumer point of view, see, revenue is also very important, because nowadays we are moving towards this smart grid thing you have heard of. So smart grid basically means that this manual that metering infrastructure that is being used currently will be automated. Okay, nowadays also we can see there is a smart meter that is being installed. So the smart meter basically means that uh, it is going to directly send data to the uh, discoms. Okay, discom is the distributor of the power. Okay, so they can directly scan, they can, if you have not paid your bill, they can directly switch off the service. Okay, so these AMIs are also being basically developed throughout the world. In India, we are like, we have not picked up a lot of pace, but definitely it is going to come in future. Then there is a smart transport, smart shopping. Okay, then the point of view comes to the suppliers. Suppliers basically, uh, suppliers would benefit by generating revenues in terms of smart services, because the suppliers will always offer smart services, and they try to develop a lot of services, and then they attract customers that, see, we have developed this service, you can use this service. For example, earlier we used to simply go to walk and nobody counted how many steps we have taken. But nowadays what we see, we always want to get into our mobile or watch to see how much we have done. So this was the technology that was basically being offered by the suppliers. Okay, so a lot of companies came, they offered this technology, SpO2, and a lot of sensors are there. So these smart devices have developed. Okay, so see, this consumer and supplier relationship is basically growing and getting benefited for the economic development of any country. Okay, then there's a human perspective. Human perspective, basically people can offer their own services also, right? So if you want, if you have some, as a student we see, we can also develop some kind of technology, we can take patent, and then we can offer the services. So intellectual property comes, technologies can be there, and information on core processes reside in human minds and can be used in the IoT in a controlled way depending upon customer and supplier. Okay, so IoT is basically governed by a lot of standards and specifications. We won't be getting into this standards because I simply want to tell you different standards that have come up. For example, when we use these computers, okay, we like do Google search or any communication that we are doing. For example, we are doing this video chat also. So it is also being governed by some kind of standard and specification. So a lot of protocols are there, and then they are developed based on some standard. For example, you have heard of this ISI standard, and there are other standards also, BSI hallmark we have heard. So what is this? These are basically standards based on that standard technologies are basically developed. Okay, or we can simply say based on those standards we can say this thing will have some value if it has followed that standard. Likewise, in IoT also a lot of standards are basically being followed. For example, this 6LoWPAN is there. There's a working group that is developing networking technologies. Then there is a protocol group that is known as routing over low power and lossy network. Then there is a core group for developing REST APIs, which are used in for communication of the applications. Okay, then there are other IEEE standards as well. So there are a lot of applications. See, when we say IoT basically is nothing but lot of applications that can be integrated together to perform some good tasks which can be beneficial for humans or the industry as well, you can say. So in these applications you might have heard of smart cities, smart agriculture, smart transportation, smart metering, smart retail, smart home. Even I think all the technologies are basically part of our life at some percentage at least. Smart office, smart home, we can say smart office, even your biometric scanning that you are doing is also a part of smart office, you can say. Okay, earlier we used to have manual attendance, but now it is automated. Okay, then there is a smart city concept. So smart city concept can be thought of like a city with lot of smart applications, where for example smart transportation is there. Okay, people can like monitor many things on their mobile phone only. Okay, then there is smart agriculture coming. It is being also used where this sprinklers are basically controlled by some kind of device. When there is a need of water, it will automatically start the motor, and then it is not required, it is always going to turn off the motor. Okay, so it is being controlled by without any human intervention, you can say. Then there is a smart transportation. Okay, smart metering is there. Smart retail can be found in any place, even in like Spencer, you can say Big Bazaar. Smart retail is being exploited at a very great level. Then smart cards are there, not in India, but there are a lot of places where smart cards are basically being used, which are helping. If you simply pick some thing from the car, in the mall, and then you can simply scan it here, and then you have to directly go to your biller. It is going to simply ask you to pay your bill, and then you can go because you have already scanned and all the data is, you don't have to be in line for that. Okay, then there are smart refrigerators. Okay, so you can say that when these technologies are coming, lot of data is basically, our private data is basically going to industries. Okay, So this is smart refrigerators can basically recognize what you are putting in. Okay, then they are going to recognize what you have removed, what is expired. A lot of things it can do. So these are some IoT actors like constrained devices. Moving on to the, like, why, how security is coming in between, because when we are seeing these devices, okay, when we are seeing these devices, they are basically low cost devices, low power devices with a lot of functionality but lot of weaknesses in point of, from the point of security. Okay, for example, when we say a device with the which can operate on a battery. So a device can operate on a battery, and it has to sustain for like 1 or 2 years without any human intervention. Then you can't afford to have a lot of security, because security will always, when you implement security algorithms, a lot of power is being consumed by that device. So you can't afford to load a lot of security on it. Okay, so that is why the problem are coming. So the one problem is that the communication between the devices and other entities rely on some wireless communication or radio waves, which basically is which basically can be compromised by the attackers. For example, in my home, suppose I am using a router, okay, and then my devices are simply getting connected, so my data is basically being transferred over the air, you can say. Okay, the problem is that when we move out of our home, still this communication is happening. And if somebody has a capable device, because things are getting like in a wireless medium, so anybody can listen to that data. And if they have some capable device or capable malicious program, so they can actually get into your data as well. It's not a very big rocket science that compromise things cannot be compromised. It can be compromised. So we need to see that what kind of wireless technology we are using and what kind of configuration we have done. For example, in my router, I have configured it with a lot of like encryption, a good encryption algorithm. People, if you want a good speed, then you can turn off that encryption algorithm. So you are going to always get a good speed, but it comes at a cost. People can listen to your data. If you are using some, if you're making some payment from your mobile, and then you are sending, for example, your credit card information for validation. So your data, even your credit card information, can be captured over the wireless medium. Okay, so these are some constraints of the devices, and then there are some implication. For example, the resource constraint nature is there. So that means that when you have resource constraint nature, your protocol must be energy efficient. It should not be taking lot of power. Okay, and then we have said that the operation is unattended, so adversary can capture any device, adversary can compromise the device data, and it can like after compromised data, it can be they can use it for damaging your reputation, or maybe causing some financial damages to you. Okay, so this is a communication that is being shown here, how the communication is basically happening from the mobile devices. We have a proxy server. Okay, we have a proxy from, we have a sensor device, proxy server is there, then there is a server, and then a client is there, which is basically making communication with your constrained environment. Okay, so I'm simply saying that a lot of technologies are getting together and connected over the internet. And when there is this internet thing, so internet is possibly the victim of its success as far as security is concerned. Because of this internet only, all the problem is coming, because people want to connect with each other over the internet. If nobody wanted to connect over the internet, no problem was there. But because people want to get over the internet, problem, because internet is basically a very broad domain. Lot of people are there with good intentions, and then there are a lot of people with bad intentions. Fine. So you can see this scenario that this is a IoT network, and then there is a machine that is basically acting as an intermediary. Then there's the internet, then there are servers from where people can access the services. So from where attacks can happen, attack can happen on the device directly, attack can happen on the networks, attack can happen from the customer side also. On the customer side also, attack can happen. So things are very complex when we say how to secure IoT, okay, because there are a lot of weak points are there. Okay? So we can categorize them into outsider attacker or insider attacker. Insider attacker basically means that when the attacker is part of the network only, and the outsider attacker is when the attacker is not part of the network. Okay, so these are some security requirements of IoT, that we need to have a robust physical design and secure booting. Then your data should be, confidentiality should be maintained. Like if I want to share some data with someone, if you only want that our data should be received by the intended recipient, it should not be revealed to any other. We need to always make sure data confidentiality, data integrity, data should not be changed in between. We always want that privacy should be there. Okay, then your identity should not be revealed, and if somebody is using any device, they should always be able to prove their identity by the way of like authentication. Then there is a authorization and access control. The services should be always available when they want. There should be trust between the devices, because in IoT a lot of devices can simply are basically plug and play. We simply connect to the network, it starts working. The problem is that IoT is allowing everyone to connect. The problem is that it is our duty to make sure that we are always connecting to a genuine device. So we need to have a trust mechanism. Then there is a fault tolerance. Suppose some device goes off, so there must be some way that we should be always be able to retain the networks and the services. Okay, so when we say what is security, security is basically a way by which we ensure that there is an absence of threats, there is an absence of fears that our data will be revealed to the attacks. Okay, and it's basically a system property. And what is security? What is privacy? Privacy is simply, you can say, we should be able to keep our private data secure. We should be it should not be like that our private data is getting stealed. Okay, so there should be restriction on the stealing of data, restriction on tracking of data, eavesdropping. We basically, most of the time our location is on, so many applications are there which are always seeing that your data, where you are moving. Like for example, Google is always tracking your movements. Fine. So the problem is that on the one hand it looks good, but on the other hand it looks bad. For example, on the one hand we can see that entity who carries the device enabled does not want to be tracked by the terminal, which could preserve his privacy. I don't want my location to be revealed to anyone. But the thing is, it can be beneficial also. For example, if I am moving and if my mobile, for example, my mobile gets lost, I can track my mobile where it got lost, and then I can report to the police so that they can retrieve my mobile phone. So both things are there. So there are security and privacy challenges comes. For example, how we can make sure that there is a authentication, how we can make sure that there is a integrity of data, and how we can make sure that there is a confidentiality of data. Okay, then there are other security perspectives also that are there, which I'm not going to cover. Okay, so we also need, because these IoT devices are very small, okay, or you can say a lot of resources are not there, so we need to always develop a lightweight solution, and then we need to make sure that our service is privacy preserving. Until unless a customer wants to share its location, it should not be that the service should not be able to retrieve the location, you can say. And then there are some trust and ownership issues also. So security can be thought of as a two-party game. Two-party game basically means that there is a verifier, there is a prover. Okay, so verifier is like which is going to verify the identity, and there is a prover which is going to prove its identity. For example, if I am using any service, the server or the company which is providing the service is basically the verifier, and I am the prover. So verifier always asks that who are you, and the prover says I am Bob. So prover is basically proving its identity. So it is not like that it simply asks who are you and it is telling I am Bob. It's simply an example. But there are some security algorithms which are acting in the similar manner, where a verifier is going to ask for something and the prover is going to tell. Because then what it is going to tell, it is going to tell something that is only with the prover only. It notes, nobody else knows. For example, if I am logging into Gmail, I know my password. I believe the Gmail always assumes that the only the Gmail user knows its password, nobody else. So by the password, you are always verifying your identity to the Gmail. That is why it is allowing us to view the Gmail email accounts and emails. Okay, so verifier gives you basically some kind of challenge. For example, it is a Gmail page that comes, so it is a kind of challenge, and then what you basically enter, you enter your email ID and password combination. Okay, so you can say X and C are basically nothing but username and password. So when verifier sees that okay, it is matching to our database, the combination matches to our database, it basically confirms that okay, now you can log in. Fine, then the page comes where you can view your email ID. So then there is a privacy preserved data. If we have a privacy preserved data in our IoT technology, then there is a nobody will be able to link or trace you. You can say. Okay. Then there is a authentication preserved data. That basically means that nobody is impersonating you. So if somebody knows my Gmail password, then they can log in into my account and then they can send me, they can send anyone any email. So that's a kind of a problem. So we need to always say that we need to have a authentication preserved data. Then there should be a integrity preserved data. That basically means that data should not be altered. For example, I have sent somebody a message that hi, I want to meet you at XYZ cafe at 5 p.m. and somebody is able to simply capture that data and says that changes the time. Okay, and suppose somebody the time has been changed to 9 p.m. if like, but I believe that I have asked someone to come for at 5 p.m. so I will be available at 5 p.m. but I am waiting because the other person have received the message to come to 9 p.m. then there is going to be a conflict. Fine. Then there is a confidentiality preserved data, which basically means that avoiding any unauthorized access to the data. Suppose I have sent any message to someone and I want that only that recipient should be able to see that message. Nobody else should be able to see my message. This is basically ensured by the confidentiality preserved data. Okay. So we look into IoT with a threat versus opportunity point of view, which basically means that if misunderstood and misconfigured, IoT poses risk to our data security and privacy. So if we are not able to properly configure or understand the technology that we are using, then IoT can be causing lot of damage to our data security and privacy. But there is an opportunity that is there. The opportunity says that so if we understood the technology and we are able to configure our things in such a manner that we are able to ensure the security, then IoT will definitely enhance our communication, our lifestyle, and the delivery of services. So if we are able to like improve the security, definitely IoT is going to help us help human beings in a very lot of way. Okay, so we can simply think that if I always believe, if I know that my data is not getting revealed to my health data is not getting revealed to some hackers, I will always want to use a smartwatch. Okay, people will definitely use a smartwatch. So if somebody is in fear that their personal data is getting revealed, why would they use the technology? Okay, so it is the responsibility of developers or the industry which are working in the security to improve the IoT security so that people can use the technology, and then revenue will be generated. And when revenue will be generated, definitely economical condition of any country will be better. Fine. So coming towards the conclusion, I would like to simply summarize what are different IoT threats. So IoT threats can be like default or weak or hard-coded credential. For example, in our router, when it comes, people don't want to remember their password. What they simply do, they keep this password default. So somebody can simply log in into your router by a default username and password like admin 123. So they can configure your network and maybe they can create a tunnel to take your data to some other place. Okay, then people don't want to update their firmwares. Even in mobile also, uh, many people basically update, but those devices which are not being accessed regularly by the people, like IoT cameras, people don't update the firmwares that are coming for security patches. Okay, then there are lack of vendor support for repairing vulnerabilities. Okay, for example, I have a web camera, the vendor does not provide any support for it. I don't know why, but there are these kind of problems that uh, are present in our society. Then there is a web interface in a vulnerability, like you are using a web interface and the web interface itself has a some kind of vulnerability, so whatever data you enter will maybe get compromised. Okay, then there are some open ports that are available, and then there is a error in coding. So for example, if you're not encoding your data properly, people can decrypt it. Okay, then there is a chance that somebody can perform a denial of service attack on your networks. So these are also some kind of threats. And then there is always a theft of tampering, because we believe that many of the applications are there where these devices will be kept in a unattended place where people won't be accessing a lot of times. So physical theft and tampering is always possible. So what are the IoT data challenges? Data challenges is that in IoT, multimodal data is there, like multi-dimensional data is there, a lot of different attributes are coming. So processing of that data is very difficult, and when the processing is difficult, securing that data becomes very typical. Okay, then there is a lot of noisy data, noisy sense that a lot of error are present in the data. Okay, then the data is basically dependent on time and location. For example, sensor reading that are going, they are dependent on the time and location. So when these all challenges are basically there, so we say that securing IoT data is not a very easy thing. That is why a lot of research is basically needed to secure this data. Okay, and then there are some IoT governance, privacy, and security challenges. Uh, in brief, it basically means that uh, we always want privacy, right? But in order to track, or in order to basically government gives you security, right? In terms of maybe government is trying to stop the terrorist activities, right? So terrorist activities can be stopped when government is able to sneak into a person's communication, right? But since we are always preferring our private our data should be always secured, and our privacy should not be revealed. So that is the problem with the governance also, because they want to sneak in, but we don't want it. So there are some ways coming by which government is also not able to sneak into data. That is kind of a problem that is arising nowadays. Then there is the internet thing. Device may take control of life in due course of time with increasing AI technology. That is one of the main concern that we have heard of, that IoT is going to AI is going to take over the world. So what is AI? AI is basically controlling this IoT devices also. So when AI takes over, when AI is enabled with that much capability, definitely this IoT device can also be controlled to maybe control human lives. That is going to be a problem someday maybe. Then there is what are different IoT technologies that are present in the libraries, you can say. So you can say that data of social media that is being used in the library is basically part of IoT only. Then there are e-platforms like e-resources subscription used by the users. So that data is also part of IoT. Okay, then devices used by the users like laptop, tablet, smartphones, scanners, printers. Library gate is enabled in some places. Library gate is basically enabled by high-end sensors, like scanners are there, biometrics are there. It is also, I would say overall we can say uh, libraries are also not left with this technology. Libraries have also are being basically using this IoT at a very large scale. Definitely a lot of pros are there. Okay, and with all those pros, we are always concerned that okay, we are taking benefits of IoT technology, but since we have security issues, problems can be also for libraries. Okay, so different librarians should be also be able to, those who are working in the libraries should always be exploring a lot of ways by which their data should is be by which their data should be always secured. The technologies that are being used should be always updated. Okay. Then there are potential areas for IoT in libraries, like library automation software, LMS, library management tools, digitization technologies. There are different tools for search, access to e-resources and publisher content. Okay, I have seen our Gautam Buddha library at BBAU campus that it is using IoT at a very large scale, and it is one of the one of the good libraries that I have seen that is exploiting this technology at a very large scale. So we need to always see that students' data, library data, institutional data should be always secure. So that is why it is also a concern for in library systems also, that we should be able to always make sure that our networks is always secure. So this is all from my side. So I hope that you have got some idea about how things are working in IoT and how security is basically being implemented here. This is all from my side. Any questions you can ask?
Thank you, sir, for your insightful presentation on security issues on Internet of Things. Your comprehensive insight and expertise have truly shed light on the multifaceted challenges about IoT securities. Through your clear explanation about application of IoT, privacy, and other aspects, you have equipped our audience with a deeper understanding of the complexities involved and the strategies needed to address them. We have received some engaging questions from our participants during the session, reflecting their enthusiasm and interest in the topic. It would be great for us if you could shed some light on.
Definitely.
Let me just
Just go through questions and try to.
Okay, I am just reading the question for you, sir.
Yeah.
One question is from Mr. Jayesh. The question is, most of the website have given their guidelines before to use, but we mostly ignore that to use it further. But how can I sure and identify about that? It will give the legal authority of my data to do not reveal.
Basically, there are the agreement that comes when you have to. Nobody basically reads that agreement. But if somebody on any website, when you visit, it asks to give access to the cookies. So by default, what is the action that we do? We simply allow all the cookies. So it must be our responsibility that what cookies we are allowed, because by cookies only they are able to track what kind of shopping we are doing, what kind of the different website that they are visiting. So we need to see what cookies we are allowing. So if we need to gather some basic knowledge about what are cookies. Then we must be able to see how can we control any website, how we can allow them to simply limit their control on our data. Okay. So it is basically our responsibility that we should, because websites will never take data without your permission. It will definitely ask for your permission. So we need to always look into what are the things that are asking. That's the only thing that we can do.
Thank you so much, sir, for addressing the question. Now, before we conclude today's webinar, I would like to take a moment to express our gratitude to all who have contributed to the success of this event. I would like to invite Ms. Arshia, one of the members of SLA Asia community, to deliver the official vote of thanks for today's event.
Thank you so much, Komal.
I think she is mute, Abhi. You need to unmute yourself, Ashi.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Komal. It's an honor and privilege as well to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you who has contributed to the success of this event. On behalf of SLA Asia community, I extend my incredible gratitude to each one of you who joined us today for our webinar on security issues on Internet of Things, which is being organized to celebrate the 25th anniversary of SLA Asia. First and foremost, I would like to express our sincere thanks to the valuable contribution of our esteemed speaker, Dr. Abhishek Kumar sir, for taking the time to share his expertise with us today. and also for sharing his profound insights, expertise, and experiences in navigating the intricate landscape of IoT security in raising awareness about the potential areas of IoT in libraries, and also you broadened our understanding of the IoT applications, privacy, threats, and challenges. And the most important thing, the way you simplify the complex concepts and relates them with our day-to-day life is truly commendable. We are also immensely grateful to our President, SLA Asia Community, Professor MP Singh sir, for his continuous support and tireless effort to ensure the seamless execution of this webinar. Last but not least, a special word of thanks also goes out to the dedicated members of the SLA Asia Executive Board and all the alliance luminaries for your enthusiasm and generous support throughout the webinar. Once again, thanks to everyone who has played a part in making this webinar a resounding success. May we continue to celebrate milestones, encouraging deep conversation, and aiming for excellence in the years to come. Finally, thanks to everyone for webinar a grand success. We hope you will continue to join us for future webinars on such thought-provoking topics. On that note, please don't hesitate to share your feedbacks through the survey link that will be circulated in chat shortly. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hello.
Sir.
May I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
I have no words except a very big thanks to you for your wonderful and thought-provoking lecture on security concern on IoT thing. So thank you very much, sir. Or I request to all the participants, please on your video so we can click 2 or 3 pics with you all. All participants, I am requesting Dr. Nil Kumar.
Again, good afternoon, sir.
Have you clicked? So already put in the feedback form in this chat box. So everybody can fill this form and automatically you will receive your e-certificate. So thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.